whoever you are, wherever you are, hope you are blessed and doing safe. Ladies and gentlemen, greetings, family. Of course, I'm tuning in. You see me without the glasses off today. But if you're looking for some opportunities, particular advertisement opportunities, then look no further at the link at the bottom to my email address. You can hit me up for advertisement opportunities. We are supporting and promoting your businesses here on this channel. You can also, if you would like to donate and subscribe to our Patreon, a link is at the bottom as well. So you have multiple ways in which you can advertise with the platform by emailing me when we go on through our live stream. You also have access to premium content, those that want to see premium content that you will not find here on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter, as I am suspended probably by now. You guys can check out the Patreon at link at the bottom. But advertisement opportunities, definitely email me, gavin.grich1@gmail.com for rates. And for the Patreon, it is the same as the YouTube channel. It is channel gboot2786. All right, I'll holla. Peace. Wherever you are, wherever you are, I hope you are blessed and doing safe. This is another edition of Gavin Richard Presents here on channel gboot2786, on Gavin Rich 2786, Gavin Richard on Facebook and YouTube. Those are my backup channels, and gboot2786. I see I'm losing some viewers. I actually had about 13 on Periscope watching me on my Twitter channel, and apparently it's gone down. What's up, everybody? What's up, computer robots? Hope you're doing all right, brother. Hope all of y'all doing all right, fam. We're going to get started in a minute. I'd like to talk about a couple of things today. Yes, the live stream is early. I got some stuff to do. On Tuesdays, I don't really have a set time. Usually it could be in late evening. It can be, sometimes I've done it in the afternoon. I've gone even off schedule and done some live streams on Wednesdays and Mondays just because they were different things, different time periods that I had to do stuff or whatever breaking news was pending. So sit back, relax. We're going to be talking about the following. Of course, yesterday it was announced we'll be talking about the rise of the Taliban again. Also, we'll be talking about the fallout over the Biden administration's response, and rest in peace, Queen Aretha Franklin. 3 years later, her anniversary of her passing was just on yesterday. And so sit back, relax, and we'll get started in a minute. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to get on up. If you have not done so, I'd ask that you please go to my to Apple or iTunes and download the song Gotta Get On Up, which is available in stores now. We also have the seasoning blends, fried on chicken, meat or fish. None of this goes great with every dish. That's our website. And without further ado, let us get started, ladies and gentlemen.
Girl, come on. Gotta dance to the beat, cause on the dance floor is where we live. Show me what you got. Gotta feel the groove. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up. Right now the party's wasted. There's nothing much to do. But once the groove gets started, tell me, what do you have to lose? Just look into my eyes, girl, as we glide across the room. And what to my surprise now, The beat takes hold of you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really moving. Time to get your body moving. Gotta get on and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, start to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up. Tell the DJ play the whispers. Rock steady in the mood. Put on earth, wind, and fire. Tonight we're gonna groove. Show me how you do the four corners. Electric slide or two. Hit the bus stop or do the bunny hop, baby. It's really up to you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really moving. Time to get your body moving. Gotta get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up. Now 2020 hasn't been the best year of all times. We've been dealing with death, the pandemic, racism, bad policing, and all the bad rhymes. But like Uncle Snoop once said, if you breathe, then you're achieving. So if you're ready, I need you all to get on up. Are you ready? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Get your butt on the dance floor. 5 and 6 and 7, 8. This jam we appreciate. We're gonna slide and step on the beat. On the dance floor is where we'll be. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up, baby. Gotta get on up, baby. Come on, baby. Gotta get on up, baby. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up.
All right. Hello. Feel the groove. Get on the floor. It's time to get on up, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you all are blessed and doing safe. We have a lot to get into, obviously, right now. Right quick, hopefully won't keep y'all too long. What's up, everyone? I saw Computer Robots in the building. I saw a couple other people, Danielle, Maya. Shout out to her. Hope you are blessed and doing safe. If you are looking for email advertisement opportunities, please send an email. Also, if you'd like to join the Patreon, you can do that as well. So let's get started. There's been a fallout, ladies and gentlemen, over the rise of the Taliban again. And also we'll be combining with that fallout over the Biden administration's response with pulling the troops out. So I guess I'll just start with here. As you all know, the Taliban has been fighting, and eventually they have reconquered Afghanistan. And right now, it's just been crazy these last 24, 48 hours since this happened on yesterday, that the Taliban held a press conference from Kabul, actually establishing their rules. So top United States military commander in the Middle East also visited Kabul on Tuesday. So as this crisis intensifies with images from Kabul showing Afghans storming the airport tarmac, climbing onto military planes. And I saw stuff like this too. People were actually on those planes. People fell to their deaths trying to get out of there. And that video has gone viral where all of those people were on the tarmac when the Air Force jet had pulled off. or was in the process of departing. The Biden administration is sticking by its decision to withdraw troops from the country by August 31st, which is ending America's longest war. So the Air Force is investigating human remains on C-17 planes. This is the video that had gone viral where people were clinging to a plane as it taxied down the runway here. I'll just share with you all so you can take a look. And then look at the people getting on there, and they're still pulling off. I'm sure these pilots can see these people running. They've actually had to evacuate all of the U.S. Embassy personnel from Kabul. There's only a small group based at the airport, and the priority has shifted to evacuating U.S. citizens and Afghans who have helped the United States. To that end, the embassy has notified the first group of United States citizens to travel to the airport for evacuation flights. This whole thing is tragic and sad. Now, I remember when this whole war started in 2001 under George W. Bush. And we remembered when we were going out to Afghanistan because supposedly Osama bin Laden was who was involved with 9/11, supposedly was in the mountains in Afghanistan, supposedly. And they being the government, led us into a war. We went through Afghanistan. We conquered and overthrew the Taliban. Even though the Taliban wasn't necessarily our enemies, the people who were the hijackers, according to the official government reports, were from Saudi Arabia. And we found out that they had their hand, the Saudi Arabians, the Saudis, we did not go into Saudi Arabia to attack them to that end. So what's going on now is
We want to get right to the
there's
story
chaos
behind this
that has
stunning image
developed
right here.
that has enveloped Afghanistan. And it's not looking good. Just what's happened. The United States has been at war. We've had 4 presidents essentially in this area, and somehow or another, these countries still get taken over. We fight these long wars. It's like nothing ever changes. It's just like the Hydra, the fictional monster in the Hercules story. When you cut off one's head, 2 more sprout off. So this is coming courtesy of ABC News. I'm going to argue Fair Use Act of 1976. Fair use of 1976 allows videos and audio to be shown for purposes of commentary and news. So I'm going to play this for you all.
An American transport plane carrying more than 600 Afghans fleeing the Taliban. The flight took them to safety from Kabul to Qatar on Sunday.
Now wait, let me stop it. Let's look at this photograph. All of these people that are getting safe passage to the United States, likely to come over here. And how many of them you think were screened for COVID? We're pushing I don't want to talk about vaccines or anything like that, or won't the shots, but you're enforcing mandates across the country, and yet you're not even enforcing a mandate when it comes to other groups who come overseas.
Sunday, nearly setting a record for the number of people packed into a massive C-17. Martha Raddatz is back with more on that. Good morning, Martha.
Good morning, George. Imagine being the crew of that late night flight and seeing all of those Afghan civilians, families and children rushing the plane, desperate to get out, and knowing that the plane could not carry all of them. That is when the crew made a life-saving decision. This morning, unforgettable images emerging from the fall of Afghanistan as Afghan citizens raced to escape the Taliban. The airport, a scene of chaos as hundreds of Afghans rushed the tarmac, clinging to taxiing planes, masses swarming this boarding ramp, attempting to force themselves on a commercial liner, pilots unable to take off. And then there is this image, a look into a U.S. Air Force C-17 packed with Afghans fleeing their country, revealing their true grit and resilience. A defense official speaking to ABC News on the condition of anonymity, revealing that the C-17 using the call sign Reach 871 was at Kabul's airport when it was rushed by hundreds of people desperate to leave Afghanistan. Over 640 Afghans eventually climbing aboard. The plane's crew, believing it would be unsafe to unload the passengers, instead initiated what's called a floor load. The passengers, clinging to cargo straps, run from side to side, creating makeshift seatbelts. All the people on the flight had cleared processing and held special immigrant visas. A remarkable feat, as the C-17 Globemaster is only built to carry a maximum 171,000 pounds of cargo, just enough for 800 persons, averaging 200 pounds each. But in terms of space, it's only designed to seat around 100 soldiers with their equipment. Among those on board 871, a family with 3 young children. This image showing one of the children holding a toy offered by one of the pilots, a sign of compassion to help ease a traumatic experience. Those families now safe in Doha, trying to start a new life, and as we know, others still trying to get out, but quick action by that crew in what was surely a heart-wrenching moment, George.
So, Martha, what's the plan to get those Afghan allies who are still stranded in Afghanistan out now?
Well, George, the Pentagon says 22,000 Afghan interpreters and their families will be housed at Fort McCoy, Wisconsin, and Fort Bliss, Texas. Other military bases may be identified as needed. Another 8,000 will be housed overseas as they complete the visa process. But the challenge does remain getting them out of Afghanistan, and we see that happening every day. They're trying hard, George.
Sure do. Okay, Martha, thanks very much.
We begin with the chaos in Afghanistan as U.S. troops head back into the country to secure Kabul.
All right. So this was ABC News. Now I want to show you a clip. Of course, this is just a clip. Biden's press conference, and I guess we could talk about the fallout from the Biden administration's response. By the way, if you can, ladies and gentlemen, please hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Also donate to the Cash App, to Google Pay and PayPal. You see the email there, and Zelle phone number. So
he has assessed that the Afghan government will likely collapse.
That is not true.
Can you please clarify what they have told you about whether...
Is a Taliban takeover of Afghanistan now inevitable?
No, it is not. Because you have the Afghan troops have 300,000 well equipped as any army in the world, and an air force, against something like 75,000 Taliban. It is not inevitable.
Mr. President, thank you very much. Your own intelligence community has assessed that the Afghan government will likely collapse.
That is not true.
Can you please clarify what they have told you about whether that will happen or not?
That is not true. They did not reach that conclusion.
So what is the level of confidence that they have that it will not collapse?
The Afghan government and leadership has to come together. They clearly have the capacity to sustain the government in place.
And do you see any parallels between this withdrawal and what happened in Vietnam, with some people feeling?
None whatsoever. Zero. What you had is you had entire brigades breaking through the gates of our embassy. 6, if I'm not mistaken. The Taliban is not the North Vietnamese army. They're not remotely comparable in terms of capability. There's going to be no circumstance for you to see people being lifted off the roof of a embassy of the United States from Afghanistan. It is not at all comfortable. So the question now is, where do they go from here? That the jury is still out. But the likelihood there's going to be the Taliban overrunning everything and owning the whole country is highly unlikely.
That didn't age well. So that didn't age well. And so the United States, right now, there's been fallout over President Biden's remarks to this point, where Biden's approval rating has hit an all-time low as a result. And there is also fallout, especially with regards to how the mainstream media has handled this entire situation from his speech that happened yesterday. Now, that speech that he had, I did not, I haven't played that as of yet. But if you go to MSNBC or you listen to them, they will, it sounds like it's, of course, it's MSNBC. You have the tale of two different stories. So they praise him in one point, taking exception for this. And I'm sorry, yeah, I'm seeing something. And this is the approval rating. This is coming from Reuters.com. We have here Biden approval rating drops to lowest of 7th month presidency after a Taliban takeover. President Joe Biden's approval rating dropped by 7 percentage points and hit its lowest level so far as the United States-backed Afghan government collapsed over the weekend in an upheaval that sent thousands of civilians and Afghan military allies fleeing for their safety, according to a Reuters poll. The national opinion poll conducted on Monday found that 46% of American adults approved of Biden's performance in office, the lowest recorded in weekly polls that started when Biden took office in January. So it's also down from the 53% who felt the same way in a similar Reuters poll that ran on Friday. So his popularity dropped as the Taliban brushed aside Afghan forces and entered the capital, Kabul, wiping away 2 decades of the United States military presence that cost trillions of taxpayers' dollars and thousands of American lives. However, a majority of both Republicans and Democratic voters said the chaos was a sign that the United States should leave. It says here the president, who just last month praised Afghan forces for being as well equipped as any in the world, was rated worse than the other 3 presidents who presided over the United States. And boy, on Twitter, they were letting them have it. There was Biden remorse, people regretting voting for Joe Biden as a result of what transpired. We have people who wish that Trump was still in office. Trump was better. I don't know about him being better, but I think a lot of people were certainly didn't think it would be this worse, this bad, with Joe Biden as president. And Biden, honestly, it's like having Lloyd Bridges from Hot Shots as president. When I look at some of the things he has done and said, this is coming from a YouTube channel. I don't want to get a copyright strike, but this is just part of what Biden had to say, courtesy of Dr. Steve Turley.
May God protect our troops, our diplomats, and all brave Americans serving in harm's way.
So he didn't even take any questions.
Biden sprinted away from that press conference like he was trying to catch a plane out of Kabul. And like Kabul, the Biden presidency is imploding.
Now, Steve Turley had a video up from MSNBC News, and
I'm curious to hear your reaction of this consequential speech by the American president. Didn't run from it. He owned it. He owned his decision. He owned the fact that, as he put it, the buck stops with him.
Now, here's a news anchor that's essentially giving his opinion about Joe Biden, saying he owned it, he didn't run from it. And I'm sorry, I thought it was up. I thought they took his ass off there. Who's this news reporter? Brian Williams. Yeah, Brian Williams. Remember, they had to take Brian Williams off the air over some lie that he told. And they put on regarding he was talking about how he was in where he was stationed and so forth, how he reported the news. He got called out for it. Talking about how he flew out into Baghdad with SEAL Team 6, but the spokesperson for the SEAL Command, Ken McGraw, said that shit never happened. They don't embed journalists. So he got a lot of stuff that received scrutiny. But I'm gonna go ahead and finish the video.
I hope he gets to own their deaths too. I feel like I watched a different speech than the rest of you guys. I was appalled. There was such a profound, bold-faced lie in that speech. The idea that we plan for every contingency. I have been personally trying to tell this administration since it took office. I've been trying to tell our government for years that this was coming. We sent them plan after plan on how to evacuate these people. Nobody listened to us. They didn't plan for the evacuation of our Afghan wartime allies. They're trying to conduct it now at the 11th hour. The thing that they were most concerned about was the optics of a chaotic evacuation. Well, they got exactly what they were most concerned of by failing to do what was right when we could have done it. We had all the people and equipment in place to be able to save these people months ago, and we did nothing. I'm appalled that he thinks we only need to take 2,000 people. There's 86,000 people who are currently left behind in Afghanistan alone. We've identified all of them for the government. I have no idea why he claims that people don't want to leave Afghanistan. I have a list of 14,000 names right now of people who want to get out of Afghanistan. And the idea that the Afghan military should be blamed for this, do you know how many casualties the Afghan military took in an average year? More than the United States did in 20. When you're not getting paid on a regular basis, when you're not getting fuel, when no one is supplying you with ammunition, and yet you're still showing up to the fight, how dare us for having to blame these people for not having the audacity to be able to survive a Taliban onslaught? No. What we need to be doing right now, and what I am appalled that the president didn't say, was we need to be talking about how we're going to get every single one of these people out.
This consequential speech by the American president, he didn't run from it, he owned it. It was the finest feast in the very fallacies that we serve on a daily basis here in MSNBC. Now you, sir, are calling us out on it. Please.
Yeah. So yeah. Yeah, but y'all heard what Brian Williams had to say and how he talks. News is not fun anymore. News is not professional anymore when you have basically these spokespersons for the Democratic Party come out and try and dictate what the American people should read and what they should know with regards to their news. And they do it without they don't hide it. They don't hide it. What's up, Butterfly 70? I see Bossa Queenie is in the building. There was plenty of stuff before this to regret a Biden vote for. Yeah, they moved him to MSNBC from NBC because he was hosting NBC Night News, and Lester Holt took over for Brian Williams on that spot because he was caught lying. He was caught lying. But let me play, because I'm a man about fairness. I'm a man of fairness, and I'm going to play the speech that Biden gave on his, and even the National Security Advisor said he had bad choices on Afghanistan. So this is the full speech.
Good afternoon. I want to speak today to the unfolding situation in Afghanistan, the developments that have taken place in the last week, and the steps we're taking to address the rapidly evolving events. My national security team and I have been closely monitoring the situation on the ground in Afghanistan and moving quickly to execute the plans we had put in place to respond to every constituency, including contingency, including the rapid collapse we're seeing now. I'll speak more in a moment about the specific steps we're taking, but I want to remind everyone how we got here and what America's interests are in Afghanistan. We went to Afghanistan almost 20 years ago with clear goals. Get those who attacked us on September 11th, 2001, and make sure al-Qaeda could not use Afghanistan as a base from which to attack us again. We did that. We severely degraded al-Qaeda in Afghanistan. We never gave up the hunt for Osama bin Laden, and we got him. That was a decade ago. Our mission in Afghanistan was never supposed to have been nation building. It was never supposed to be creating a unified, centralized democracy. Our only vital national interest in Afghanistan remains today what it has always been: preventing a terrorist attack on America's homeland. I've argued for many years that our mission should be narrowly focused on counterterrorism, not counterinsurgency or nation building. That's why I opposed the surge when it was proposed in 2009 when I was vice president. And that's why, as president, I'm adamant we focus on the threats we face today in 2021, not yesterday's threats. Today, the terrorist threat has metastasized well beyond Afghanistan. Al-Shabaab in Somalia, Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula, al-Nusra in Syria, ISIS attempting to create a caliphate in Syria and Iraq, and establishing affiliates in multiple countries in Africa and Asia.
I'm already sleepy.
These threats warrant our attention and our resources. We conduct effective counterterrorism missions against terrorist groups in multiple countries where we don't have permanent military presence. If necessary, we'll do the same in Afghanistan. We've developed counterterrorism over-the-horizon capability that will allow us to keep our eyes firmly fixed on the direct threats to the United States and the region, and act quickly and decisively if needed. When I came into office, I inherited a deal that President Trump negotiated with the Taliban. Under his agreement, U.S. forces would be out of Afghanistan by May 1, 2021, just a little over 3 months after I took office. U.S. forces had already drawn down during the Trump administration from roughly 15,500 American forces to 2,500 troops in country. And the Taliban was at its strongest militarily since 2001. The choice I had to make as your president was either to follow through on that agreement or be prepared to go back to fighting the Taliban in the middle of the spring fighting season. There would have been no ceasefire after May 1. There was no agreement protecting our forces after May 1. There was no status quo of stability without American casualties after May 1.
All right. Look, I'm not going to play this whole clip because I'm sleepy right now. But y'all hear what he has to say. It's basically an 18-minute plus speech that he gave. And honestly, a lot of people weren't buying it. You know, that Brian Williams, when he interviewed that guy who served in the military, honestly, he did not accept what the president had to say. And a lot of people are having Biden remorse over this presidency. So you guys should check out Twitter and just see it was trending. Biden remorse was trending all on Twitter yesterday. This was from First Dem News. He said, where are the Biden bootlicks? Light It Up said, I'm going to just say it. I regret voting for Biden. Definitely should have kept Trump in office. If I knew what I knew now, I would have voted differently. Oh, I just saw this. Look at this. Undocumented immigrants will soon benefit from free legal service, medical screening, and other assistance thanks to a new pilot program funded by the Department of Homeland Security. Well, that's another reason why Biden's administration and the Dems are failing right now, because we're putting resources with people who are not even allowed to be legally in this country. And other people are suffering around this country. We don't have resources. We've had a moratorium on rent with regards to this pandemic, and that's about to expire across the country. We have a lack of jobs, all of this stuff going on, and we're giving monies away to other groups during a pandemic. And you're allowing these people to come in who are undocumented. You're not screening them for COVID. They're not being tested. Yet you put mandates in place saying you got to show me your vax card, show me your wear your mask, show me your negative test. They don't really care about what's going on with this pandemic with the American people. And let's be clear, whether you're on the side of the Wampa shot or not getting a Wampa shot, what I do with my body is not your business. It is not your business. Period. Yeah, you can have. I know in schools you have to show proof of different vaccines that you have to take, but when you're talking about going into a restaurant, going into a gym, going into a club, I have to show you that. You got to scan it to see if you verify. What we have a fundamental right to privacy. And like I said on Sunday, people are frustrated with all of this stuff, regardless of what side you're on. So what do y'all think? Y'all frustrated? Y'all tired of Biden? Kamala Harris, I mean, people are already saying that he needs to resign. He's in danger of being forced out. You know, you can only impeach a president like with Trump if they're guilty of high crimes or treason. Misdemeanors, that hasn't happened, but certainly they can be removed like they tried to do with Trump if they're unfit for office. So who knows what will happen, but by virtue, if he leaves, you're stuck with Kamala Harris as president. And that's not even good at all. I've been tired of that. You said you've been tired of them. Yeah, a lot of people have been tired of big government. They are frustrated. They are frustrated with it. And it's only going to get worse these next few months. But watch what happens in 2022. You will have the bloodbath, just like in 1994, when all of these Democrats were getting caught in scandals and the Republicans took over the House, the Senate, and you only had a Democratic president. This stuff is going to happen and spill over again. So that's just one thing. So as we go in, guys, to yesterday, so our final topic. Yesterday was the anniversary of the passing of our Queen of Soul, Miss Aretha Franklin. And I can't play her music, obviously, because I will get a copyright strike. But Aretha Franklin, let me see if I'm going to pull up a picture of her right now. I remember when she passed, and a bunch of tributes from around the world were tuning in because Aretha was suffering from pancreatic cancer. And a lot of people were obviously saddened about her passing because she meant a lot to the world. She meant a lot to not only women, but especially Black America as well, because she used her platform. Essentially, she was a writer for her people. She actually, I read this back in the 70s when she was in New York. I was reading how there was a bombing at a mosque, for Nation of Islam mosque, and Farrakhan, Minister Farrakhan. I don't believe he was the head of the nation at that time, but apparently he was there, and I believe he was the minister over there. And Aretha Franklin actually showed up and to support him and support the nation. And Jesse Jackson, she actually said, "Did Jesse come?" For report regarding Jesse Jackson, he's like, "No." And she said, "Don't worry, he'll be here." And Jesse, sure enough, came. And she was she was a trailblazing pioneer. I remember the song that the song, of course, that she's most known for is "Respect." That's an Otis Redding song. A lot of people don't know that. Otis Redding wrote "Respect" in 1967. And when Otis, interesting enough, Otis recorded, or all of his music is with Atlantic now, but Otis started out with Stax. And I think what there was a Stax might have been a subsidiary of Atlantic, or they had some type of dual contract, but all of Otis Redding's recordings now are with Atlantic. And Aretha twisted the lyrics around to put it from a woman's perspective. And Otis Redding humorously told the patrons at the Montego Bay Festival, "That girl done stole my song." And she did. And so they have the movie, the Respect movie that's out now. I have not seen it. I like to go see it to see what it's about. But it certainly is different from what they put on Lifetime or National Geographic. Because Cynthia Erivo was playing Aretha Franklin, and there was controversy about it because Cynthia is not a foundational Black American. And even Aretha's grandchildren, granddaughter, had protested it. She didn't believe it did the Queen justice. The family was not backing it. Queen Aretha had handpicked Jennifer Hudson to play her. I also know that Aretha actually wanted Halle Berry to play her, for what I heard. And if you look at Aretha's younger pictures, she does Halle Berry does resemble her very closely. Brother Ron was telling me this. They do look alike a little bit then. People get confused because Aretha got, older Aretha who, obviously got older and much bigger. No offense to the Queen. But yeah, was a very attractive woman. In her younger days, yeah. Six decades of music, starting out as a child in her father C.L. Franklin's church. I remember when she passed. I think it was on if I'm not mistaken, it was on a Wednesday or Thursday, but everybody knew she was battling cancer, and the word was out that she was near death. So people were bringing all the tributes in. I remember, it's just amazing how 3 years makes a difference, huh? People were doing tributes to her, singing Respect at the concerts, playing her music. My favorite Aretha Franklin song, personally, was Rock Steady, that she wrote, because it has the best breakdown, one of the best drum breakdowns by the great Bernard Purdie. The Rock Steady breakdown is probably one of the best ones there. The Purdie Shuffle, yeah, he's responsible for all of that. But most people don't know all of the stuff, about Aretha. Growing up in Detroit, she was friends with a lot of the Motown artists, from Smokey Robinson, who was a childhood friend, Stevie Wonder, who was a good friend. I don't know how, I remember Stevie actually performed, of course, at her funeral, but she was a good friend with all of the Motown artists. She was married twice to Ted White and Glenn Turman from Different World. They had no children together, but Ted White had one son with Aretha, Ted Jr., Aretha had 4 kids. She had children as a little girl herself. She was only 13, 14 years old when she had her kids. She was raised primarily by C.L. Franklin. I like to watch the movie, and I think in the movie they playing, if I'm not mistaken, Forrest Whitaker is playing C.L. Franklin. Marlon Wayans is playing Ted White. I'm going to do a movie review on Respect with Everybody. You know, to say Ted White was, so we're going to see him as an abusive dad, abusive husband. But he was the reason why Aretha even prospered, because apparently he bankrolled her career. But she did a lot for a lot of people. She was a writer. You look at this. This is just a partial discography of her. This is a full discography from 1961 all the way to 2014. She had albums. But yeah, I remember 3 years when when they had her funeral. I don't know who could. You had to take some no-dos to watch that funeral. Lord, that funeral was long. Had to binge watch season 1 of the Aretha Franklin funeral. They would have done well if they put it on Netflix. They would have released it in different parts. I mean, shit. Whenever Shirley Caesar had to take a cigarette break, you know that mug is long. I ain't never seen a funeral with an intermission. Like you're watching an epic. Season 1, a miniseries. That's how long that damn funeral was. You know that was true. Yeah, Forrest Lazy Eye Whitaker is in it. We're gonna need that Ducci, Aretha. We're gonna need it. It's a simple request. Godfather of Harlem. We need the Ducci. We need it now. Did y'all see the last episode? I like who's zooming who. Well, yeah, I actually did a video. If you guys go look at it, the highest rated video on my channel was about why Farrakhan didn't speak at that funeral. And Farrakhan addressed it some days later, saying he didn't have to, and explained why. But everybody who performed, I went over that, the eulogy, and I had some issues with the eulogy personally because the old Negro pastor, his name was Jasper Williams, and you can tell he's old because I don't know any black man over 30 with the name Jasper. All right. I think it was around when Harriet Tubman was starting the Underground Railroad. But he said some interesting points in his eulogy that were good about abortion, black on black crime, violence, things of that nature that I agreed with. Was it appropriate for him, though, at the funeral to say all of that? Because even her family, her nephew, I believe, came out and, yeah, thank you, Boss of Queen. Yeah, go look it up. It was back around the time the funeral debuted. I gave commentary on it, my highest rated video, and why Farrakhan didn't speak. And I noticed something else, just to go back. I'm going to go back to the pastor in a minute, but to go to Minister Farrakhan, as well, there was a point where the news media were talking about how had titles like anti-Semite Louis Farrakhan attends Aretha Franklin's funeral. And they were making it all about him being at the funeral. I remember Fox News doing something like that. And it had nothing to do, but you see, they took the attention away from what it was about, which was about Aretha's funeral. It had nothing to do with Minister Farrakhan. And so what? He was a friend of hers. You had Bill Clinton at the funeral. They let Bill Clinton there. They let the governor of Michigan there. The same governor that was around with the Flint water crisis. What was the problem with that? The previous governor of Rick Snyder, he was there, a Republican. I think the mayor of Detroit was there. Just had a host of people that were there. Yeah, last episode of Godfather of Harlem was great. I'm gonna have to do some reviews on it. Maybe that will spike up some of my views and so forth. But I like Godfather of Harlem. Godfather of Harlem is fictional too. You guys know that. They say it is, because stuff about Bumpy Johnson. Bumpy Johnson would not pull a knife on Joe Bonanno, yet alone Joe Bonanno's, just that whole story of Bonanno's kid being killed. That was not true. That whole thing is not true. That's all fictional. But hey, don't let the truth get away in making a good story, right, Hollywood? We're gonna need that, Doochie. It's a simple request. But yeah, they were all mad at Farrakhan for speaking there. But the Jasper Williams, let me get to the eulogy of Jasper Williams. He wasn't incorrect in terms of the things he was saying. It was more my issue with how long it was. My issue was it the proper place to do that? When you eulogize someone, you talk more about that person and their accomplishments. And he didn't do that. And sometimes, and I think about it, perhaps that's the best time to bring attention to stuff like that, is when you least expect it. And he spoke for 50 minutes, according to Aretha's nephew. His name is, try to see his last name. Well, his last name is Vaughn. But he said he spoke for 50 minutes and at no time did he properly eulogize her. And he didn't to his credit, he didn't back down. He didn't apologize for what he said. Let's see if I can play a clip from it. Yeah, this is from the funeral.
For what critics call controversial remarks.
I meant nobody no harm, and yet I meant the truth.
Reverend Jasper Williams was chosen by Aretha Franklin to deliver the eulogy.
And I feel that I did it appropriately. I think that I honored Aretha through it all. And I feel that in honoring her, I picked out various issues that are going on within our community and made that part of the forefront.
There are no fathers in the home no more.
Those issues included Williams' thoughts on single mothers in Black America.
70+% of our households are headed by our precious women. And as precious, beautiful, and proud as they are, they cannot teach a boy how to be a man.
With the birth of integration, there also came the loss of not only the Black community's economy, but there also came the loss of the Black man's soul.
Williams also spoke on Black Lives Matter and called for an end to Black on Black violence.
When we as a race sit back and get mad.
Now, let me say this. Why they were offended too was because they thought, oh, and I thought this shit was funny when they tried to say that this pastor grabbed Ariana Grande's breast. And they actually had people that wanted, this was the bishop of the church. They actually wanted to press charges. There were people that actually started moving to press charges against this bishop. And even Ariana Grande and her people were like, no, don't do that. He didn't grope me. And just looking at it, I think it was bad because first and foremost, you got to have breasted on her for him to grope, and I didn't see it there. So, but they wanted to press charges against this bishop for this. And, you know, that was around a time, we're still around a time with Me Too when that started. And that it was just a whole clusterfuck, excuse my expression, of ratchetness that they were trying to make out on Queen Aretha's funeral. I mean, for 8 hour, an 8-hour funeral. And getting back to the bishop, Jasper Williams, he had eulogized Aretha Franklin's father back, C.L. Franklin, some decades earlier. So that's why he was picked to do this. So he was not wrong in some of the stuff that he was saying. But I think should he have done that at the funeral, talking about political issues and trying to tie it in? And I think another reason why they got offended, remember Aretha at some point, like I said, she had several children out of wedlock when she was a teenager. I think even a preteen at one point. But
if a police officer kills one of us, see, and we don't say anything when 100 of us are killed by us, that something is wrong with that.
The Reverend says he is not surprised by the mixed reactions to what he said.
Instead of making mockery or creating difficulty or spin opposite of what I am intending, that's what hurts me more than anything else.
When asked did he think Aretha Franklin would have approved, the Reverend told us this.
Because of the great contributor that she was to the civil rights movement and all that she gave, I would think that if I'm doing something to turn Black America around, that she would be pleased.
But with the birth of integration, there also came the loss.
All right. So that was Bishop Jasper Williams, Pastor Jasper Williams. And I didn't think he was wrong. What he said necessarily, because I have my criticisms of Black Lives Matter. I remember even Stevie Wonder yelled out, Black lives do not matter during his eulogy. And Stevie yelled out, Black Lives Matter. So what happened was Jasper Williams said Black lives do not matter when he was talking about black on black crime. And Stevie threw his 3 cents in there and said, no, Black lives do matter. And Stevie, you know, I love Stevie Wonder. Stevie is an activist. Now, I have my issues. We know Black Lives Matter, what they stand for. they are an organization, a far left organization, is not run by black people, and they are using the debts of black men to finance and fill their pockets. Now, so Pacing T, you saw the movie? Said it was a great movie. Yeah, you're right, Xfinity. A lot of these women are messing with the same pookies. I have not had dinner as of yet. Killer Syax, what did I eat out here? I haven't had it as of yet. I said Aretha knew this pastor, and there was a reason she picked him point blank. People wasn't used to this type of pastor at a funeral, including her adult children. Well, I think, again, yes, that's who she wanted to do her funeral. That was her right. Yes, she did. But I think a lot of people were caught off guard. And when you do a eulogy, when I typically hear a eulogy, we hear about that person's life. And yeah, you can combine it with some current events and stuff that was going on. We didn't hear that. So there was a lot of resistance. Yeah, that's true. Good po' boy sandwiches. A great place to go is Parkways. Parkways is pretty good. Some shit. I make my own po' boy sandwiches when I need to. Yes, 3 years, man. That doesn't seem like a long time ago. And time had just passed. I mean, 2018, then we go into 2019. And then we have 2020. Of course, 2020 was like a blank year because we were all dealing with COVID, and we're still technically dealing with it. Now 2021, it's just like time is flying fast. Yeah, a lot of info on her past in the movie. I'm going to have to check it out. Yeah, paying for bail for Angela Davis, having Dr. King come over to her household. A lot of these celebrities that would come into her house to see her father, from Ray Charles to Sam Cooke. If you listen to Ray Charles, he even said that church, very interesting, Aretha Franklin, where her father ministered to, they said it was, Ray Charles even said it was like an orgy. And supposedly, Aretha was actually born out in Memphis to see the only cat in the room with 2 or 3 chicks. He said the gospel people didn't like that. The cats liked it with the cats, and the chicks liked it with the chicks, and no one minded mixing it up this way or that. Now, here was what's funny. I got a kick out of seeing how God's people were going for it hard and every way, which way. I was just surprised to see how loose they were. Damn. Now, Ray, we know you didn't see, but Ray could feel around there. Yeah, her sisters all passed away before her. Her brother, she was the last, I believe, that was still alive. Her sister Carolyn was actually a songwriter as well. And I know they had some type of rivalry. I don't want to say rivalry, but I guess she was, if you watch the movie, the National Geographic movie, there was an issue with Aretha and her sister over a song that she said she wrote and didn't get credit for. But yeah, that's what Ray Charles was saying. This was in 2014. That's Aretha's father, C.L. Franklin. And that is Aretha and her husband, Ted White. And they met when she was 12, got married when he was 19. And yeah, he used his money to invest in her career. And look, it takes money to make money. Even Rick James got started. You know, Rick James' mom was a numbers runner for the mafia out there in Buffalo, New York. And if you watch Tales from the Tour Bus, they talk about how Rick used his connection with the mafia to help finance one of his albums. I don't like the Daily Mail, but that's where it comes from. Yeah, Rick James used his money, used the mafia to help finance his albums. I think it was, I don't know which ones. He had about 3 before he had Street Songs. Street Songs is his best album. And Rick James died in August 6, 2004. Yeah, but y'all look at Tales from the Tour Bus. That's on YouTube too. That's funny. They broadcast the whole funeral 9+ hours. Yeah, I can believe that. I think I was watching it online, and I want to say Rolly, you know, he was there trying to show off and dance for the bip queen, his bootleg buddy, bip. We're gonna do this for Queen Aretha, a diddly dee. Yeah, I remember when it was on for I was in Natchitoches when it came on. I was working some court case and I was getting ready to leave. And I was able to live stream it while I was driving back home to New Orleans. So yeah, that was long. I was thinking I wouldn't get back home in time to watch the funeral. But by the time I got home late in the afternoon, damn, the funeral was still going. Michael Jackson's funeral wasn't even that long. Well, he met her when she was 12. Because Aretha used to be out, my understanding, she used to be out in them streets. Yeah, I remember when Rosa Parks' funeral, Farrakhan got to speak at Rosa Parks' funeral. George Bush got to speak. Who else? A bunch of people spoke. I remember when Coretta Scott King died. I don't think her funeral was that long. I think her funeral was in Atlanta, but you had Jimmy Carter, you had George W. Bush, all presidents then, Bill Clinton, a lot of former presidents, bunch of people that spoke. Let's not forget Rosa Parks was actually at the Billion Man March in the early 90s. Shit, you can binge watch the funeral. They can put it on Netflix right now. Yeah, man. I didn't want to be long on here, guys, but I just wanted to talk about this. But sad situation all around what's going on in the world, and rest in peace to the Queen. Again, let me know in the chat what were your favorite Aretha Franklin songs. I liked even her current stuff that she even did. A Rose Is Not a Rose, I believe, was a song that she did. One of the last songs that charted. A Rose Is Still a Rose, excuse me. That was it. That was in 98. I remember that one. Wasn't a bad song. And reached number 26 on the Billboard chart. And guess who was one of the songwriters on that? And the producer, Lauryn Hill. They got some music in this, but
Well, it was a few weeks ago that we broke the internet, telling you first that Aretha Franklin was retiring from touring at the end of this year, along with releasing a new album in September. Well, this morning,
this is coming from, click on Detroit Local 4 WDIV. I'll just play this before I get off. This is actually Aretha Franklin's granddaughter that they're working in studio with her.
Chance to go in studio
this is the same year
as
she
records
died.
that album to give you a sneak peek of what we can expect on the new record, including a new voice with a very familiar name.
Okay, you gotta hit those notes on the head, though, on Sister Girl.
This is where the magic happens. Aretha Franklin is in a local recording studio starting work on her upcoming album.
Sister Girl! Hit those notes on the head.
Today, it's the background singers laying down vocals on Aretha's take on the Marvin Gaye classic.
Okay, now sing those same parts falsetto.
So tell us about this upcoming album. Do we have a title yet? Do we have songs?
The upcoming album, we don't have the title yet. We're starting it in April, and that is Stevie's coming in. He's going to bring some new music for me, productions, and he's going to write, he's going to produce, and then Jamie Foxx is coming in.
Storms with his hands.
Someone else coming in to sing on the album has an all too familiar name.
Mary, did you know that your baby boy
Your baby boy has walked where angels trod. 17-year-old Victory is Aretha's granddaughter and will be featured on the still untitled album, singing the classic "Mary, Did You Know?"
Is one of my guest artists.
Do you ever get nervous?
Every performance. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
There's no time to be nervous today, as Grandma Aretha is coaching her along the way.
Mary, did you know? Go straight into it.
Okay.
I'll run the click track.
Watch your timing.
What is the best piece of advice?
I like Freeway of Love.
When it comes to the recording industry, the music industry.
I mean, I guess.
Taking care of her voice.
Yeah.
Kind of explain what she taught you about taking care of your voice.
Those are trade secrets.
When you kiss your
Even though her grandmother is the Queen of Soul, this is Victory's first time in a recording studio. With Aretha guiding her music career, it certainly won't be her last.
Is heaven's perfect plan.
Oh, she's good, right? Along with including her on her next album, Aretha is also looking for a record deal for Victory. And I think she knows a few people who might be able to give her one. None other than Clive Davis. Don't you think?
Wow, what an awesome opportunity for her granddaughter.
Yeah.
But then to see Aretha Franklin behind the scenes like that, you know, working the
And all of that while
soundboard
she was
and
battling
interactions, it's
cancer.
really
Wow.
cool.
It was fun just being in the recording studio and getting to see that. They like to keep the temperature warm,
Yeah,
drank ginger ale, and ate Chinese food.
Oh, and
Little
that
behind the
is
scenes
that maybe
secrets.
part of the secret for the
Possibly.
boys. And then Stevie and Jamie Foxx on her new album.
And a few others, unnamed as of
Sounds
yet.
good.
Those are secrets for now, too.
Yeah, she does look like Janet a little bit. 1980s Janet. Well, there's a principal haircut. Almost. Jump to It was a great album. Yeah, great song. I think Luther Vandross wrote that for her, if I'm not mistaken. Luther wrote a lot of stuff for a lot of people. Yeah, Luther produced that whole album. He produced it with Aretha. So he wrote quite a few of those tracks. But yeah, Jump to It. Daydreaming is also a favorite song that I love that she did. Freeway of Love. Who's Zooming Who? I remember that because that was the theme for WrestleMania 3. Who's Zooming Who? That was recorded in 1984, released in 1985. Yeah, she's well missed. You know we're riding on the freeway. Oh, can't get along. All right, let me stop. I shouldn't do that. I like Ain't No Way. Oh, how about Until You Come Back to Me? Now, I didn't know that was a Stevie Wonder song. A lot of people don't know that. Yeah, Carolyn, I'm just looking here. Carolyn Franklin wrote Ain't No Way for Aretha. A lot of stuff. Aretha's family were very talented, her sisters. Carolyn died in the 80s, 1988. She had cancer. Her older sister, Irma, she had passed away. She wrote, let's see what they all sang backup for her on Respect. So they were all close knit. And all of them died of cancer. Lung cancer for Irma. Carolyn died of breast cancer, and Aretha had pancreatic, unfortunately. It's sad to hear. Aretha being I think they said Aretha was godmother to, Aretha's mother had a heart attack. Was godmother to Whitney Houston, supposedly, although I know Cissy Houston said that wasn't the case. But I think they certainly all knew each other. They were very close. You know, or you talk about fake. You better think what you're trying to do to me. Let's go back, let's go back, let's go back all the way down. Freedom, freedom, Come on, I'm the Blues Brothers. Freedom, 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 oh, freedom, 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 oh, freedom. You better think about what you're trying to do. I like to shout, be free. Let's go back, let's go back, let's go back all the way we can. I can't play it. I love to play the movie or the music, but y'all know how YouTube is with this stuff. But anyway, let me get on out of here, y'all. I need some freedom. Freedom. Oh, yeah. Sparkle. Right. A lot of people don't know this. Curtis Mayfield produced that. Giving him something he can feel. I thought that was an En Vogue song. Giving him something he can feel. That was written by Curtis Mayfield. Curtis Mayfield is one of the great R&B artists, musicians of, just not even R&B, but one of the great musicians, songwriters of all time. He's not talked about as much because, unfortunately, his career back in about 1990 took a turn for worse when he was injured in an accident while he was playing out at Wingate Field. He had some lighting equipment fall on him and sadly paralyzed him from the neck down, but he was still able to record until he passed away back in 1999 at the age of 57 due to diabetes. But guy who wrote songs like Let's Do It Again, People Get Ready. He was a lead singer of the Impressions. They wrote a lot of songs. Like Curtis Mayfield. We've got to choose between whites and Jews. That's the type of songs he. Cause if you're a winner today, we're gonna have to pay. I think Pharrell modeled his voice after him. We're gonna have to choose between whites and Jews. That's a song he would make. You've got to be a winner today. You're gonna have to find a way. Boom, boom. You're gonna have to choose between whites and Jews. Listen, people, today we're gonna have to find a way. We're gonna have to choose with whites and Jews. Choose. You're gonna have to choose. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed the stream, brother Killer Sai. Yeah, I got the voice down packed. Thank you. Like Charles Barkley. Personally, I feel like the Lakers, they can't win nothing without street clothes. But y'all, please hit that Cash App, hit the like, share, subscribe button, or donate to the Super Chat. I appreciate all the love and support, Pacing T. I've never seen you here before, Pacing T, but thank you if you're a new subscriber. Please subscribe to channel GBoo2786. I appreciate all of you that have stuck with me. We're going to wrap this up. I will be back Thursday, of course. I should be joined by Brother Sean James as we discuss the random topics and what's going on this coming Thursday. So you guys stay safe, be blessed, and keep yourself safe. Don't be coerced by things, but make the best decisions for yourselves in regards to your health and safety and what you feel, okay? All right, guys. I'll holler, and of course, we got to, before I leave, I want you to please check out NornisCreoleBlends.com. That is our seasoning company. Also, if you could. You can check out the Patreon if you'd like to get some new content. Also, if you like to advertise, if you have a Black-owned business, please hit me up. You see the link at the bottom with my email. We certainly are interested in advertising with you. That's all I have for right now. And of course, guys, it is time, as always, before we get on out, we got to get on up. So let us play that. Where's my... All right, guys. So let me officially sign out, get on out of here. But y'all donate, please. I can't help enough if you can donate to the Super Chat or to the Cash App so that we can keep the show going. I'll holla.
Girl, come on. Gotta dance to the beat, cause on the dance floor is where we're moving. Show me what you got.
I'll pause this to address Jennifer's question. Yeah, Nicole's husband is doing much better, according to what she's said. He's still recovering, but he's doing much, much better from where he was. So, all right, guys.
Gotta feel the groove. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up. Right now the party's wasted. There's nothing much to do. But once the groove gets started, tell me, what do you have to lose? Just look into my eyes, girl, as we glide across the room. And what to my surprise now, the beat takes hold of you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really grooving. Time to get your body moving. Gotta get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, start to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up. Tell the DJ play the whispers. Rock steady in the mood. Put on earth, wind, and fire. Tonight we're gonna groove. Show me how you do the full chorus. Electric slide or two. Hit the bus stop or do the bunny hop, baby. It's really up to you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really grooving. Time to get your body moving. Gotta get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, start to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up. Now 2020 hasn't been the best year of all times. We've been dealing with death, the pandemic, racism, bad policing, and all the bad rhymes. But like Uncle Snoop once said, if you're breathing, you're achieving. So if you're ready, I need you all to get on up. Are you ready? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Get your butt on the dance floor. 5 and 6 and 7, 8. This jam we appreciate. We're gonna slide and step on the beat. On the dance floor is where we'll be. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, start to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on the floor, baby. Yeah, gotta get on. Baby. Come on, baby, gotta get on. Baby. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on the. We're gonna have to choose between violence and juice. You're gonna have to plan to be the man. Say it with me, people. You're gonna have to choose between violence and juice. You're gonna have to plan to be the man. Thank you, Curtis.